East now has to be the Nets, even though I know KD's not going to be playing this year because of that injury. But you still got Kyrie, and they got a good, decent team. They made it to the playoffs last year. I mean, I'm not that I'm trying to be a homer. I'm not really a big NBA guy, but I mean, the Magic ain't a bad basketball team either. They made the playoffs last year. So it'd be nice to see them do something this year, locally for the state of Florida and that purpose, but we'll have to wait and see for that.
Barrett just signed an endorsement deal.
With who?
With the Puma.
Oh, nice. Okay. Puma shoes. Okay.
So I actually signed with a real Puma, not Puma shoes, just a real Puma.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. I knew they would get you.
No, that's cool. No. I don't mind. I like to get a laugh in here and there. That's good. It kind of.
I had to do it. Anyway, how does it look for the games in your area Saturday? Because with the storm approaching, how's it going to look?
Well, as of right now, from the last update that I've seen, they don't predict it to be here until late Monday night, Sunday, or Tuesday morning. The heavy stuff will be here Monday evening, Tuesday morning is when they're calling for the worst. It's supposed to be a Category 4 hurricane when it hits the East Coast. They say it's going to touch down in Melbourne. By the time it gets to my area, we're on the West Coast in the Tampa Bay area. It's going to be a Category 1 hurricane. We went through this 2 years ago with Irma, but Irma was a Category 3, I think, when she hit land, or 2. Yes. I don't remember which. I had no power where I was at for a week. So I'm hoping the power stays on so we have air conditioning because it is too damn hot not to have air.
Well, the last one that hit us was Sandy. We didn't have any problems with our power, but my sister was in the next town over, did.
Okay.
Yeah, we were okay though.
Yeah,
what a mess.
Oh yeah, well I remember when it hit there because you guys just aren't prepared for hurricanes. That part of the country is not really. They don't get hurricanes that often way up there.
Yeah. But when we do, we usually just we don't get the brunt of it. We get it like it hits like a 1 when we get it. Mm-hmm. But one's going to do some damage too. I mean, a lot of wind and rain mostly. So we do get some damage, but we don't get the massive destructive like say with a Category 5.
Yeah, well, I mean, if a Category 5 hurricane hit the state of Florida, we might be underwater. Right. I mean, seriously, that's what they say. They've always said that if we took a Category 5, then we've had some in our history. Back in '94, we had Hurricane Andrew rip Miami.
Andrew.
So that was bad. You had Katrina in Louisiana.
Hugo.
That was awful. Hugo's another one that was bad. So there's been some bad ones. And again, this is the time of year that us Floridians kind of, cross our fingers and hope and pray that we can get through the season. Again, we have until November 31st. We're in hurricane season all the way till the end of November.
Yeah, I know.
Usually this is the hottest part of the month for us, or the hottest part of hurricane season is now. The end of August, all of September is when we have to kind of pray and hope that nothing happens to us. So we're hoping.
Yeah, because when Sandy hit us, it was the day after when the Red Sox won the World Series. Yeah.
Yeah, that had to be bad too. That was the badness.
Go ahead, rub it in.
No, that's okay. Well, you can rub it in this year, Lewis, because the Red Sox are having a World Series hangover because we are not making the playoffs. We're not making the postseason. So, I think right now, to be honest with you, we saw the World Series preview on Sunday Night Baseball. I think the Dodgers and the Yankees. I know I say that.
Oh, yeah.
I forget Houston. I know Houston's out there. I understand that. But I just, to me, the Yankees are a good baseball team, and I hate to say that because I'm a Red Sox fan. But I think, honestly, because every once in a while you just got to say to yourself, okay, who do you say is, I honestly think that it's L.A. and New York in the World Series. And I don't think baseball would love to have that because when the Dodgers were in Brooklyn, they met a lot of times when they were in Brooklyn. So it would be interesting to see them play against each other now that they're out, and they played each other when the Dodgers are on the West Coast anyway, but it's been a long time since those two
played each other.
Let
me ask you this.
Okay.
If the Dodgers do lose in the World Series, is there going to be changes made on the front office and in the lineups come the off season?
I do think so because they've gone to the last 3 in a row. If they get to the World Series again this year, that would be 3 World Series in a row. They lost to the Astros, the Red Sox. Let's say it's the Yankees, or let's say it's Houston again. Yeah, I think it's got to be time to change the manager, general manager. Yeah, I think it's time for him to clean house because you can get them to the promised land, but you can't get them over the hump. And the Dodgers have such a great baseball team. It's weird that some teams just can't win when it comes to clutch situations. I guess it's hard to say, but that's just some teams can't do it. Some teams can, and it could be players. It could be management. I don't know, what the cause of it is for the Dodgers.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, because, it's becoming like the baseball version of the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, there you go. Correct.
And
yeah,
I don't think the Dodgers want to see that. So
no,
it's now or never.
Yeah, like I said, they have to be the favorite in the National League. I really don't know of anyone else that really. I mean, it's definitely not the Phillies. The Mets are kind of fading a little bit. The Braves are an okay team. I mean, so we got them. I don't really know anyone in the National League that really. The Cubs. I mean, I don't know, the Brewers. Somebody in the Central has to,
Cubs maybe
will be there.
Brewers, I don't know.
Okay, so it's hard to not say that you don't have the Dodgers, ready to go when comes again, when the World Series comes around again.
Yeah. Cubs, I mean, 2 weeks ago I said, the Mets were almost like, they're making their moves and they could have had a chance to, maybe even take the division. Now Atlanta's is on a roll, and the Mets have slid back. And, we're now going into September. There's only 4 weeks left in the season. If you don't get your act together by the 15th of September, I hate to say it, you're gone.
Correct.
And remember,
this is crunch
back
time.
in 2007, the greatest collapse in the modern era of baseball occurred.
2000. Who was it in 2007?
Well, the Mets were up 7 games in the final week of the season, and Philly was right behind them. The unthinkable occurred in that week. The unthinkable. The Mets lost all 7 games, and Philly snuck in. So they went from practically on their way to making the playoffs as a division winner to getting locked out of the playoffs. I'm like, I don't believe it. I don't believe this happened. This is the greatest collapse since 1951.
Well, I mean, they do say that they do say that nothing is impossible, only improbable, and obviously that was what happened to the Mets.
But 7-game losing in the last week of the season and blowing your chance of the playoffs.
Well, I was going to say, Lewis, what I think is they were up by 7 games with 7 left. They said all we got to do is win 1. That's it. We win 1 game. We got it. They took it easy and then ended up blowing it, and then they lost their remaining 7 games. So, what? If that's what it was, that's what it was. But that's interesting to say the least, that they would lose the final 7 games to miss the playoffs altogether. So that's interesting.
Well, to quote Vince Scully on that, in the season of the improbable, the impossible has happened, and it did.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
The greatest collapse I've ever seen.
Vince Scully was one of the best, if not one of the best, announcers on the planet. Ernie Harwell was another one for the Tigers. Why can't I remember
Tigers?
Why can I remember the guy's name for the Cubs? The guy with the glasses, and I can never remember it.
Harry Carey.
Harry Carey was another one that was good.
There's
who's the Dodgers TV guy now? He used to be on ESPN, and he was an ESPN guy.
Charlie Steiner.
There you go, Charlie Steiner. I remember as a young kid watching him on ESPN, and now he's the Dodgers TV guy. He's their TV guy, so that's pretty cool.
Well,
and
I'll tell you something.
Okay.
Charlie had one of the best calls in his career ever. He called the game for the Yankees Red Sox Game 7. I was driving home. We were riding home from the sports bar because it was getting late. And as soon as we pulled through our driveway, I heard Charlie's voice like, "I think something happened." Like, oh my God, I don't believe it. We won. Charlie's like, "Play it's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going to the World Series." Oh man.
Yeah, like I said, what year was that, Lewis, that he called that game? Was it the
2003.
2003. Okay. Yeah. I remember the Brett Boone home run too.
That was the one.
Yeah, I stayed up that night to watch that game. And of course, when he hit the home run, I'm like, "Oh, here we go again, another year of misery. We lose to the Yankees again, and then of course, we all know what happened the next year, but that's a different story altogether.
I know. You got your revenge on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
My nephew was 2 months away from being born when the Yankees won the pennant that year.
And what, in 2003?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my nephew was 2 months away.
If there were any World Series that I can think back, Lewis, that I think the Yankees should have won was the 2001 series. I think after what happened in 9/11, I think if anybody should have won a championship, it should have been them. That would have been the only year that I would have pulled for them to win it all, would have been that year because of what happened on 9/11.
I'm watching the game. Rivera's up. I'm like, okay, this is it, and it's destiny. Come on, we can't lose this. And then Arizona ties it up in the ninth and wins. Like, I just sat there for 20 minutes, like, how could this be?
Yeah, no, I was just as stunned as I think a lot of people were. With the Bloop single, you're like, how could it end on that? Like, if it ended on a base hit up the middle or a wild base hit down one of the infield lines, either the third or first base, but a Bloop single is what won the World Series for the Diamondbacks. It's interesting to say, but again, like I said, that was the only year that I would have loved to have seen the Yankees win the World Series after what had happened earlier that year. So, yeah.
You would think it'd be on our side. The destiny was on our side.
You would think, and that would have been the best thing, I think, would have been for them. Destiny should have been on their side. Definitely during that series. Absolutely.
Because, when Boston won in after the year that the terrorists with the Boston Marathon, I was like, well, you know what? Boston's been through a lot. I think they deserve it. And like when I was covering for a local show, I'm like, this wasn't just a victory for the Red Sox. This was a victory for baseball.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yep, I agree with you.
As much as I can't stand the Red Sox, this was a victory for any fan of baseball.
Yep, I agree with you on that.
So I gotta sympathize with you on that.
Yeah, I think there are times, in sports when something dramatic happens outside of our realm. And I hate to say that because it's normally a negative thing that causes, us to cheer for our opposing or our opponent or our foe or the team that we just cannot fathom or stand. But I think we all come together and say, okay, you know what? That happened in that city. They need that to help them heal. that's something that that city needs to help them heal.